Hi there, it's Liz Yuille, UK-based independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Thank you for joining me again today, and today, being the 1st of August, is the day that demonstrators get to start to order from the new autumn-winter catalogue. So I thought I would share a Christmas card with you. It's from the current annual catalogue, which obviously lasts through until middle part of next year, but I thought I would do a Christmas twist on an existing non-Christmas stamp set, and it's the Free as a Bird stamp set, which I just love. Anyone who has seen my Creativity in a Box for this month will have seen how much I love Free as a Bird. I'm going to link that in my blog post, which is linked below. So if you want to have a look at the Creativity in a Box to go, there will be a link for you over on my website. But let's get started. So I'm just using the one stamp from the Free as a Bird stamp set, and I'm just using a bit of it for this feature. And can you see, there will be photos on my website. In the background I've got some white embossing just to sort of, I don't know, just as a bit of texture in the background. And then I've got lots of little frames. I've got a tiny piece of designer series paper and a couple of frames and some silver metallic thread, and of course Christmas. Now the Christmas comes from the bundle, which is a Wish for Everything bundle, and it's the word wishes dies that go with it, and one of them is Christmas. There are all sorts of wonderful words, and they're a good size for a card. So yeah, okay, let's get started. I'm going to start by stamping the one bird that I need to then colour in, and there's logic in that, I like my Memento Black to have a little chance to dry before I attack it with my blends. So the bird that I want is this one at the left hand end, so the right hand end when I turn it over, and I'm just going to ink up the very end of it. I'm not going to worry too much about inking up bits that I don't want, because it will just go off the edge of the die, and I'll explain the die that I've used in a moment. But I just want to make sure that I get my little bird reasonably centred, well, slightly off centre. I don't like centre, but there we go. Perfect. Right, I do just need to clean that off because I'm going to be using Versamark in a moment, so just clean him off. Okay, so let me explain how I've done the frame. So I've got my layering squares dies, and I've got one from there and one from there. So I've got the second smallest from the small pile and the second smallest from the larger pile, and those are the two that I'm using. I call them 1 and 4 because I go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I call it 1 and 4. Sorry, 1 and 3. What am I talking about? 1 and 3. So it's those two that I'm using, and for the frames, it's basically just the outside of the little square that I've cut for my robin. So that's where I got my frames from. Helps if you put them back in the right place, of course. So yes, layering squares, that's the word I'm looking for. Okay, so I will actually leave that there. Blends. Now, to get a robin's red is not that straightforward, but I have kind of worked it out. So I've got Real Red Dark and Pumpkin Pie Dark, and those are going to be the two that I'm going to use for his red breast, and it seems to work reasonably well, because the pumpkin pie bleaches out the real red to give that proper robin redbreast look. Actually, I'm going to come down a bit further. They don't actually come down that far, but poetic license. And then come in with your pumpkin pie, and it just adds enough orange to take it down to a more authentic red for the redbreast. And then the branch I'm going to do with dark soft suede at the bottom, and then light soft suede on top. I'm just going to kind of blend that in with circular motion. You can do light and then dark, but for a bit like that it doesn't really matter. And then some light soft suede for his wings over the top of his head. And a little bit down here. Actually do need the dark soft suede again just for his beak. And then light crumb cake to blend everything together there. Just going to switch ends. My light crumb cake is getting quite well loved, so I have another one on order. They are low stock at the moment, the light crumb cake, so if you want one, now would be the moment to get one. And I'm going to bring a bit more pumpkin pie in, because I do quite like having a bit of an orange edge there. There we go. That will do for our robin. So just need to do some leaves and the flowers. I'm not too worried that a robin would be, you know, if we're looking at a Christmas scene, he probably wouldn't be sitting on blossom. I'm just going to go with it. Quite a lot of it gets covered up, but I'd rather not leave it uncoloured. I'd rather have it wrong than not have it at all. So just going to do a little dot in the middle of the blossom, and then come in with the, that was dark petal pink and light petal pink. And just spotted a bit of branch that we can colour in. There we go. So that's that. So now I'm going to grab a, oh, you see, I thought I had one out. I'm going to grab a standard mat. This is my large layer mat. Dimensions will be on the website, so don't worry about that. Actually, I'll leave that there for the moment. Don't worry about that too much. Okay, so some embossing buddy, because we're going to be embossing. I know it's white and therefore it doesn't matter too much, but it's a good habit to get into. Right, so I don't want these leaves and flowers on my background, certainly not at the right hand edge, so I'm going to make sure that I don't ink those up. At least I'm going to try to not ink those up. There will be a mess in the middle, and I'm okay with that. Don't have a problem with that, because it's going to get covered up. So ink and stamp, and then I'm going to ink up again. And come in. Now I can just about see where I've stamped the first time. I am overlapping in the middle, and as I say, I really don't care because it's going to be covered up. I think I planned it. Right, so white embossing powder, Now, you could do this without this stage, but I do like the look of the white in the background. It just adds something to the finished card. Otherwise it does look a bit sort of plain. Okay, so heat gun, which I will heat up under my desk, and my trusty cheese board. It's always worth heating up your heat gun, just so that you know that it's properly heated, properly hot at this stage. Okay, that's all melted. It's sometimes quite difficult to tell whether the white has melted properly. You want to make sure that it has gone properly shiny and not just slightly matte. But equally you don't want to overheat it. So it's that balance between the two. Right, okay, so card base, which I know sounds a bit odd at this stage, but this is how I like to do this because I need a bit more rigidity behind this in order to build everything up. So let's find a Tombow that's actually got some Tombow in it. Hopefully this one. So, yep. Now, if you would like to get your hands on some of the Autumn Winter Catalogue items sooner rather than later, it actually launches at the beginning of September, I want to say the 4th. But if you were to join as a demonstrator, you would be able to put stuff from the Autumn Winter Catalogue into your starter kit, but also you would then be able to order even more at a discount. So it is always worth bearing that in mind, particularly as we have the extra promotion at the moment. So if you're in one of the European countries that we deal with, you are very, very welcome to join my team. I do have European team. So in Europe, for your usual 129 euros, you get 207 euros of product. That's 32 euros more than usual. And then next month you would get a 12 euro voucher to use before the end of October. And if you're in the UK, you get £155 of product instead of 130, so that's an extra £25, and you get an £8 voucher for next month. So very worthwhile having a look at. I've already die cut Christmas, and this is just in standard Whisper White. So I'm going to pull that out gently. There's full information about the extra over on my website, which, as I say, is linked below, so do go and have a look at that. It would be great to welcome a few more of these sparkling sunflowers to my team. We are a growing team, so you'd be very welcome to join us. Okay, now I've got a small piece of the designer series paper, which I'm going to have sort of, let's bring in the original just so you can see. So it's going to be kind of offset. So I'm going to grab some snail just to pop that together. So I want it across to one side and, oops, no, not like that. I want it across to one side, but more like that. Then putting the frames on is slightly more interesting. So we want one to be coming underneath and then across the top. So kind of like that. And I found that the easiest way to do this is to stick it on with the dimensionals that we're going to need anyway. Certainly to begin with, because that gives a bit of rigidity. And then this one goes again slightly behind and out to the side. And of course it needs to go exactly where I've just put the dimensional, but it's not that important exactly where it goes. So that is fine. So let's see, where's a good place to pop a dimensional? There, probably. Right, okay, so now we need some of the silver metallic thread, and it's just pull some off. How are we doing time-wise? Ooh, 16 minutes, that's a little long for a single card. Snips. Can't get that into its little groove at the moment, but that's fine. So I found the easiest way to deal with this was to expose a piece of dimensional adhesive, and then you just want it kind of, you know, somewhere. So I just need to make sure I know where. Right, so this is where our robin is, that way. So I mostly want it kind of out to the sides. And expose that one. Oop, that's right, stick it down, then pull it up. That's a plan, isn't it? And then we can come down a bit and expose that one. And across, let's go there. And I want one more dimensional. There. And oops. Let's just tuck that out of the way under our final dimensional. Okay. So we've kind of got everything where we need it. Pop him down so that he's sort of on the same branch as the others. And then what I did with my Tombow, I just very carefully added drops of adhesive to kind of hold everything in place a bit better. And then just under there, and that just helps keep body and soul together, particularly when you stick that down properly. Oops, and then pull it up again. There we go. Right, and then Christmas we'll pop there. So I want glue on my H, my T, and the first bit of my M. I might manage a little bit of the C as well. Just pop a bit on there just to see if we can get that on as well. And then just pop Christmas down. Oops. And there we go. All done. So just a bit of fun, bringing a bit of Christmas, I'm sorry, early So thank you very much indeed for watching today. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more of my projects, then you can always hit the subscribe button, which is down in the bottom right hand corner. If you've got any questions or comments, please do leave them below. If you have a longer query, then you can pop an email across to me. My email address is in the information below, but it's also probably easier to find on my website. And as I say, there's a link to that in the description bar below, and I'll link the products that I've used both below and over on my website, and give you some close-up photos on my website as well. So thank you very much indeed, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.